This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Not sure if this is relevant, but I'll mention it anyway. That little solo that you just heard me play there was the first guitar that I've played in 2025. All of the other videos that you've seen over the past few weeks since the end of the Christmas festivities, I did all of those videos back last year in the run-up to Christmas, and today I'm getting back in the saddle again, and it's currently the 2nd of January as I'm recording this video, but it's going out weeks later because I do these things in advance. And today was the first time I picked the guitar up since the as I say, since the tinsel and turkey season has departed. Anyway, what I'm talking about today is basically how to learn the fretboard. It's a familiar topic. I've spoken about this many times, and it's the way that I prefer to do it, really. That's the topic under discussion today. There are all sorts of ways that you'll see advertised on YouTube, learn the fretboard in 30 minutes or that kind of thing. And in my experience, for me, and certainly for the people that I work with as students, they very seldom work, if at all, if I'm honest. I prefer to think in terms of learning the fretboard in the same ways that you impart knowledge anywhere in any other field. You put in a little bit of effort and that leads to some sort of reward. It's like training a dog. The dog learns to scratch at the back door, and when he needs to go and relieve himself in the backyard, and then he gets a biscuit. A little bit of effort leading to a reward. It's a tried and tested way of imparting knowledge, and I thought that's what would go through today. In that little minor key blues solo there, I was utilising some notes outside of the regular pentatonic box shapes that we all know and love so well. And it's how you find those notes and how you can use them that is the sort of peg I want to hang this little fretboard knowledge sermon on. Here's a bit of information.
Here is the explanation.
Right, so what we're talking about here is basically landing on some chord-specific notes at various points in the chord sequence, just to make it sound a little bit less off the peg and a bit more kind of made to measure, if you see what I mean. Let's take a look at the chord sequence here. It is a fairly standard minor key blues, 12-bar blues in the key of A minor, and you could just play regular straight ahead A minor pentatonic over the top of this. Let's have a listen to what that could sound like. So as you can hear, there's nothing at all wrong with that. A perfectly credible, way of playing a solo over the top of that chord sequence. But there's a little bit more that you can do, and this is where we need to start thinking about looking for some additional notes. And the reason why I tend to do this a lot in A minor and demonstrate it in that key is because A minor pentatonic is a very, very easy scale to find your way around. If you start at the top of of this particular pattern here, I'll play the pattern. That sort of first position box that we all know so well. Here it is again. If you start at the top of that scale, that's a C note. Then as you come down the scale, you're spelling the word caged. C, A, G, E, D. And then C, A, G, E, D. And then a C and an A again. Nothing to do with the cage system I would add. Is just file that under coincidence. But anywhere else, in any of the other patterns, like here's one here, well, we know that's a C note, so we can come down this one. C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D, C, and so on. Basically, if you can locate a C note in any of the patterns, here's number 3, and come down the scale, so there's a C note there in this one, then you're always spelling the word caged. C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D, and so on. And once you know where the C is, you can kind of work your way up again. So that's a C, D, E, and so on. So you can use that as a way of navigating your way around the 5 pentatonic boxes and getting the note names under your belt if you're a little bit uncertain on that. So let's take a look at the chord sequence again. Here it is. Now, what we can do is when we get to the D minor 7, and I'm going to go for the D minor 7 here at the beginning of the second line, bars 5 and 6 basically, that D minor 7 chord contains an F note. So what we can do is we can add an F note in over that chord there. Once again, C, A, G, E, D. Well, if that's an E note there, there's an F note here. Here's a little example from the solo that we heard earlier of me doing that. When I hit the F note, you'll see some fireworks going off just to reinforce that that's where the note is happening. And here's me doing a similar thing in a different part of the neck, in a different scale position of the A minor pentatonic. Once again, adding the F note in over the D minor 7. Once again, look for the fireworks. That's where I'm hitting the F note. Now, you could, let's go back to this again, you could put the F note in over the D minor 7 in the in bar 2. What I'm doing here is just spacing these additional notes out a little bit so that you've got time to kind of think about where you got to go to get them. And the next one we're going to do is when we get to the F7 at the start of the third line there. The F7, that chord contains the notes of F, A, C and E flat. So we can add an E flat note in over that chord. So once again, you could go C, A, G, E, D. Okay, there's a D note, so E flat is there, and use a similar technique elsewhere in other patterns, just walking down that C, A, G, E, D string of notes to get your bearings in the scale pattern. Find the D note and go 1 fret above and you've got an E flat, or find the E note and go 1 fret below and you've got the E flat. Here's me doing that once again. Again, look for the fireworks, that's when I'm landing on the relevant note. And you can also bend to any of these notes, where you can just, say from the D note there, bend up to the E flat. Like that. Here's me doing exactly that again. The fireworks mark the spot where I land on the note in question. And the final note we're going to talk about, we've looked at adding the F note over the D minor 7 and the E flat note over the F7. The final one we're going to talk about is over the E7 chord, and I'm going to space this out again here and just put the, think about this E7 at the end here. That chord has the notes of E, G sharp, B and D. And it's the G sharp which is a nice one to, I think, land on over that chord. And once again, you can find that G sharp in the time-honoured tradition of C, A, G. Well, there's a G, so there's a G sharp 1 fret above it, or C, A, G. There's a G sharp there, 1 fret above that G. And as we've been, kind of doing so far, let's take a little bit of a look at me doing this in the solo from earlier. Once again, the fireworks denote where I'm landing on the note in question. And in case you missed that one, here it is again from later on in the solo. So these additional notes that you can add in do two things. They make the solo sound just that little bit more sophisticated. As I say, a little bit less off the peg and a little bit more made to measure. They're kind of tucked into the nooks and crannies of the chord sequence. You're playing to the changes a little bit more, basically. And they also teach you the neck, It's the oldest, I think, way of learning that's known to our species is that you put in a little bit of effort to find something out, and then when you use that knowledge, it rewards you. So effort leading to reward. You put in a little bit of effort learning where the F note is, then when you land on it over the D minor 7 chord, the reward is that it makes you sound just that little bit sweeter and more melodic. And that then kind of just lodges that. It makes it take root in your brain, and you kind of remember where that F note is next time you need it, and gradually, bit by bit, this is how you can learn the notes on the fretboard. It's certainly how I did it, and it's a more fun way of doing it, I think, than some tedious memorization exercise. And I'm living proof that it works. It's also got a pretty good track record of success with a lot of my students, so that's what you need to do. Then once you've done it with this A minor blues backing track, go and find a similar backing track in E minor or D minor or B minor, and just kind of transpose the knowledge that you've got from this into those other keys, and basically go away and have some fun with it. And that's all there really is to say about it, other than there's, as usual, a full tab for the solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and the jam track I was using. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know by now. $3 or £3 or thereabouts each month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive heartfelt thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And I'd appreciate you leaving me a like as well. It all helps in the algorithm. And don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.